All right, I'm CJ McKay from Hope 100.7 and 88.3. We're delighted to be joined by singer, songwriter, producer Natalie Layne. Natalie is going to be in concert Thursday, May 14th, 7 p.m. at the Athletes in Action campus. I believe that's going to take place at the chapel here in Xenia, Ohio. Natalie, welcome and thank you for taking a couple of minutes to chat with us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me. We're so excited for the show. It's coming soon.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I wanted to ask you off the bat, have you always known that this was going to be your career choice? Did you have like an epiphany moment, or was it a gradual thing?
I would say yes. I started playing the piano when I was 3 years old.
Hmm.
So I've always loved it. I grew up in a musical family. My parents both play music. And so I just remember loving to play the piano from a really young age. And yeah, I think I did have kind of an epiphany moment. One time I remember playing just a little song on the piano, and my grandma was at the house that day, and she asked me if that's something I ever wanted to do when I grew up. And I said, yeah, I think I'll lead worship and write songs when I grow up. And I
Oh,
was
wow.
little. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing now. I'm leading worship and writing songs and sharing them with people. And it's such a blast. It's crazy to live out your childhood dream.
Yeah. Who are some of your musical influences?
I loved so much music growing up. So I'm a classically trained pianist. So I was
Okay.
always listening to Bach and Mozart and things like that.
Yeah.
And then I also love a lot of jazz music. I love some R&B, soul, gospel stuff. And so I was always listening to Kirk Franklin and Israel
Hmm.
Houghton and these amazing gospel musicians. Um, but even now, like I love to listen to Lauren Daigle and my friend Blessing Offer. I love his
Okay.
songs. And so it's kind of all over the place, I feel like. But I'm just a fan of music.
Do
I
you
love
uh,
all genres.
do you have like a desert island song? You know that proverbial
Ooh.
question, like if you're stuck on a desert island and you could only have one album, what would it be?
Oh, that's so tough. See, I would maybe could we put together like a compilation album of a lot
Okay,
of different things?
that sounds good.
Because I need a little bit of everything.
Now you've performed and opened for some very well-known people like Jeremy Camp, Chris Tomlin, We
Mhm.
the Kingdom. Is there anybody in particular that you haven't worked with before, but you would just absolutely love to work with?
You know what? This concert that we're talking about is actually one of my bucket list concerts because I love
Awesome.
my friend Clark Beckham.
Yeah.
And I've always loved his music. I remember watching him on American Idol. And then we became friends here in Nashville, and we haven't gotten to do a concert together. So this is
Yeah.
one of those for me.
Well, let me ask you this: when you're on stage, when you leave that stage, if you could leave your audience with just one thing after a performance, what would that be?
Yeah. I usually say this on stage too at the end, something along the lines of if there's only one thing we could walk away with tonight, it would just be that each of us would know how loved we are. And I think
Oh,
that's such a hard thing to receive sometimes. We can hear that. We can hear that we're loved by God. We're loved by the people around us, but if we can't actually receive it, it doesn't change anything in us. And so I think music's an amazing vehicle for that, for us to hear the words that we are loved by God, loved by the people around us, that we're loved. And hopefully, music is something that can help us get that into our hearts and really
oh.
start to believe it.
Well, since we're a little bit nosy around here, we want to ask you this question: what has God been talking to Natalie Layne about lately?
I love that question. This feels so simple, but I think we never grow out of needing to trust the Lord more. And I'm just in a season in my life right now where it's a transitional season. I'm learning a lot of things. Um, and I think I mean, it's hard for all of us to surrender at times of our life, right? It feels easier to like grab onto things ourselves and really try to muscle it out. But I think I'm just learning to actually let go and breathe in the presence of God and let him lead the journey because it really does end up better. And I know that, but sometimes walking that out is hard. So I think I'm learning that never-ending lesson of trusting the Lord more and more every day. And my prayer is that, like, you know, maybe it gets easier, but maybe next time I run to Him quicker. Maybe I get there a little faster. And so I'm learning that right now, as I think probably a lot of us are.
That's a good word. Well, maybe somebody is watching this video and they're going through a tough time right now, maybe going through the fire.
Hmm.
What would you say to them? Do you have a word of encouragement for them?
Yeah.
Someone who's going through a rough time?
I've been thinking about this too. The Bible is very clear that we are going to go through the fire, that actually to be a believer means to be crucified in a lot of senses of that word, that we don't see it like they did in Jesus' time, but we see it in a lot of other ways. It's death and resurrection and death and resurrection. So if people are going through that, refining what feels like a death right now, we can be sure that there's resurrection on the other side. So that gives me a lot of comfort. I think about how Jesus walked through the wilderness and then He came out on the other side and was able to do this ministry, and how the Israelites walked through the wilderness and then they came out into the promised land. That is part of the Christian life, is death and resurrection and death and resurrection and death and resurrection. So for us to be encouraged that it's actually biblical if you're walking through something like that. And just that our God is so kind and compassionate in the middle of it. I think we forget that too, but my prayer would be that people would know that His presence is with them right in the middle.
Well, that's some great encouragement. I'll let you off on this final question. We always ask people this. Do you have a guilty pleasure? Like mine is Dove ice cream bars.
Oh, they're so good. Those are so good. Come on.
Yes.
Ooh, a guilty pleasure. Let's see. I mean, I really love me some sour candy. Yeah. And that's on the road. I'll eat me some Sour Patch Kids or something like that. This was bad. On our last tour, I'm wearing this 10th Avenue North sweatshirt.
Yeah.
I did 50 shows with 10th Avenue North last year. And they've got a list of a few things they like to have in the green room or whatever. And one of the things on the list was Cheez-Its. And we ate Cheez-Its every day for 50 days. Cheez-Its. And that was not good for my body.
No.
But I love them too. That's maybe my guilty pleasure. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Now, how can people follow you on the internets?
Yes, the internet.
Yeah.
Well, all the details are at natalielayne.com for all the shows and all the music and stuff. But you have to spell Layne right. So it's Natalie Layne, Layne, natalielayne.com.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to you, Natalie Layne, in concert Thursday, May 14th, 7 p.m. at the Athletes in Action campus. It's going to be at the Chapel in Xenia, Ohio. Natalie, thank you so much for taking some time and letting us be a part of your day. We appreciate it.
We can't wait. Thank you, guys.